The January transfer window is well and truly underway. And today we're here to speak about Chelsea. Now, we haven't really spoken about Chelsea, I'd say, in a good week or so. There lots happened, and I've been meaning to talk about them. And now some transfer stories have come out relating to them. And it looks like they are on the verge of signing their first player. We're going to get into that in a second. Make sure you go down, drop a like if you haven't already. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Nearly 94% of everyone who watches the Chelsea videos are not subscribed. So go down and hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. We're under 600 subscribers away from 38k. Now, Chelsea have had a wobble in the last, I would say, since beating Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they have definitely had a wobble. And that was back in early December. They beat us 4-3. They were by far the better team. They then beat Estanya and Shamrock Rovers, which I think we can all say they should have beaten them. And they beat Brentford, in which was a good win. Since then, however, they have had a bit of a rut. And part of the reason for this is defensive injuries. Fofana likely will miss the rest of the season. Colwell's had his fair share of knocks. Badiashile isn't good enough for me. And, of course, Disasi is a bit of a disaster. These are the last four results. What's also concerning is they're not scoring a huge amount of goals in the last four games. They've only scored 2 in their last 4. And I think we can all say the Chelsea side, meanwhile, Chelsea fans might not think they're in a title race. It's definitely better than some of these results, the squads they've got. They should have beaten Fulham. They should have beaten Palace and Ipswich and Everton. And they didn't play horrifically in these 4 set of games. But it does come down to defensive injuries, mistakes in front of goal. And where that could be fixed is Fabrizio Romano earlier today put out a tweet at 1:38. Now, the reason why I'm dropping the video now is he's also retweeted that tweet, which kind of tells me that the story may be a little bit further down the line than what he's really actually suggesting. Chelsea are seriously considering to bring in one more centre-back this month. This is where it's really interesting. I understand Marc Guehi has been discussed as an option internally. Not easy, but he has 18 months left on his contract. Chelsea also have a clause to recall Trevoh Chalobah as a point of contact. Now, Marc Guehi, for me, I was a massive fan. Do you know what? I still am a massive fan of his, especially after that Euros. Like, I respected him a lot of what he's done for Crystal Palace in the Premier League. But then watching him do it in an England shirt, I think it kind of went up in a lot of people's estimations of how good he really can be. Now, Marc Guehi is only 24 years of age. I feel like he's really 26 or 27. He's a top player for me. He's quick. He can play it out from the back. He's a predominant left-sided centre-back. He ticks all of the boxes that Chelsea need. Then you've also got to add into all of it. He has 18 months left on his contract, and he is a Chelsea boy. He come out of Chelsea's academy. Then he joined Chelsea's under-23s. Then he finally joined Chelsea. Then he went on loan to Swansea. And then he went back from Swansea to Chelsea. And then he finally left to join Crystal Palace back in 2021, which is 3 years ago, for around £10 million. The fee finally rose to around 23 million euros. But as you can see, he come through Chelsea's academy. He's homegrown. He fits the system. And he's a good player. He ticks every single box on the way down for Chelsea. Now, I think you bring in Marc Guehi and you look at the centre-back options they have got fit for the remainder of the season. You could put him alongside Colwell. I think that would be their best centre-back pairing. I know recently they're relying on Josh Akipong. Apologies if I butchered that. But the centre-back partnership that Chelsea, or the defensive partnerships they have played, has chopped and changed a number of times this season. And Enzo Maresca is being heavily criticised for not using his bench to the best of his ability. Now, I look at this 11 that played against Crystal Palace in the 1-1 draw. You put maybe Cole at right-sided centre-back or Guehi at right-sided centre-back, and you have a back four of Gusto, Cucurella, Colwill, and Guehi. And then eventually, when Lavia comes back from injury, Enzo Fernandez has been good in recent weeks, but I just feel that maybe, just maybe hear me out here, could we potentially see it where Neto gets dropped or Jackson gets dropped, Palmer goes back out to the right, Enzo in the 10, and they play Caicedo and Lavia? Because also, Lavia got injured in that win against Spurs, and since he's been out of the side, it has dropped a little bit in terms of overall performances. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest. I think they deserve to win comfortably against us. And Lavia, for me, was Chelsea's best player in the first half. Or potentially go to this lineup where Caicedo goes in at right back, and then you play Enzo Fernandez and Lavia and Palmer. But the only difference is, about his shield, they would have Marc Guehi, for me, is a far better centre-back. Now, another player who has been heavily linked for Chelsea, they had concrete interest back in the summer, and that is Osimhen. Now, for me, I've looked at Jackson's performances this season. He was really clinical the first 12 games, hasn't been as clinical since then, really. He got 14 goals last season and 5 assists. This season, he's got 9 goals and 3 assists. He's on target to better his return, but I just feel they just need a striker of pedigree. Now, a striker of pedigree, someone like Victor Osimhen. Now, before I get into his numbers, how he can benefit the system, what I do want to get across is Chelsea notoriously aren't the best side when it comes to signing number 9s. There is a history of number 9s that have not worked out from, I don't want to put Fernando Torres into the hat because he won Chelsea that Champions League, but you've got Samuel Eto'o, you've got Falcao, you've got Gonzalo Higuain, you've got Morata. There's a list. The two that have really performed for me were Didier Drogba and Costa. Now, Victor Osimhen, I think, is a top player. I genuinely think if they sign him, I would be extremely concerned that they are going to go on and win a lot of major honours in the next couple of years with him. Now, I want to get into Victor Osimhen's numbers throughout his career. He is a goal scorer. He's done it in multiple leagues. He did it winning Scudettos. He's done it now in the Super League. He's done it in Ligue 1. He ticks a lot of the boxes. When you look at his record for Napoli, 76 goals and 18 assists. It's roughly 95 goal contributions or so in 133 games. 18 goals and 6 assists in 38 games for Lille. 20 goals and 4 assists for our Chiroli SC. Didn't perform that well for Wolfsburg. Has been at Galatasaray now. 13 goals and 5 assists in 16 games. For me, he is the real deal. If he is available, Manchester United right now are the favourites to sign him. If that concrete link happens again, where Romano comes out and says that, he is available, I think they have to go in and get it done. For all of Jackson's, fantastic ability he's not Victor Osimhen, is he? And you look at someone like Christopher Nkunku, who's being heavily linked with a move away. I just think there is more chance of Chelsea winning major honours of a player like him in their lineup. Now, I've put together a team in which if Chelsea were to sign Victor Osimhen and Guehi, what it would look like and how I think Enzo Maresca, could potentially set the team up. Now, you can't tell me that this team wouldn't cook. You'd have Caicedo inverted into the midfield. like something like this, right? I don't know if you guys can see that. You'd have Cucurella coming upfield. You'd have a bit more of a high line, a bit more of a sweeper keeper. Neto and Sancho hugging those touch lines. Palmer a bit farther forward. And you can't tell me, looking at that team, they would not finish top 4. Then the following season, bringing a goalkeeper, maybe another centre-back, maybe another fullback, and then talk about title charges and taking it to the next level. Look at that team. You've got wide players of Neto and Sancho. You've also got wide players of players like Nkunku on the bench. You'd have Felix on the bench, Jackson on the bench, depth in Gusto on the bench for their fullbacks. You bring in a goalkeeper in the summer, and I think they would comfortably be in a lot better position. That's just my understanding. But Fabrizio Romano, as you can see earlier, reposted his tweets regarding Marc Guehi, and that is the last thing that he has tweeted since then. So I personally think that deal is a lot further down the line than people think. If that is the case, it may be Trevoh Chalobah to come back, but looking at it like this, you bring in Guehi, and then hypothetically you bring in someone like Osimhen, who is happy to potentially leave Galatasaray. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not saying title charge, but who knows? Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on your way out. We are steamrolling our way towards 38,000. And I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye. And I am out.